On YouTube.
All right, so we are live. The session is how to overcome leadership challenges. We are down in Mays Landing, New Jersey, and South Jersey.
We're located in Wyckoff, New Jersey at Eisenhower Middle School in the northern part of New Jersey, and this is our first session.
Hi, this is Henry Turner, and this is our second session from Boston. We have a good 30 people in the room. Some on camera, some are not.
All right, so we have the session doc open as well. We're all sharing that same session doc. We're going to try to, if one particular if one particular try to go to the Google Doc, and then we can go from there. If you want to look at let's go to Google Doc, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I wouldn't join the Google Hangout. Just don't join it. Just will give us crazy feedback. So I think we're good. Are you guys good to go?
Yeah, we're ready to roll.
All right, we're ready to roll. Does anyone want to talk?
Does anybody have a question? We're going to do this, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to do this more of a discussion about challenges that we face.
Yes.
Does anybody have a challenge they would like to share? In any of the groups?
Challenges.
What about how as leaders are you engaging your more traditional teachers to embrace the one-to-one, and even the more traditional administrators, how are you getting them on board to using the new technology and having a more global experience for students?
That's a great question and great lead into this. This is Steve Santilli in South Jersey, and one of the things that I kind of would probably go to first is talk about modeling. So I think as a connected educator, for me, it's important to model, not just for other administrators or teaching staff, but also for our own students and parents. I think that's really important to show the power of being able to be connected and doing it in the right way, obviously.
I'm going to share. This is Brian McCann from Massachusetts here. I'm going to share Steve's sentiments about the importance of modeling there, because as the building leader, we need to show them that we can take risks, and that if we fail, that's fine. That we're going to rise from the ashes like the phoenix too, and win in the long run. But we have to model what we expect of our teachers, even the reluctant ones. When they see the success around them, they're going to want to be on that train.
Does anyone want to share examples of ways that they've modeled for their parents, students, staff members?
Hi, Nick, come up here.
I'll chime back in since I kind of went in that direction. It's Steve Santilli in South Jersey again. One of the things that at Davies School that we've done, for instance, is what we call Tech Tip Tuesdays or Teacher to Teacher Tuesdays. So at the end of the day, we don't have a ton of time, but contractually, we might even have like 20 minutes. And what we do is we send the Google Doc out and we have unconferences like we're doing at an EdCamp. People get to share that. So many times, whether it's myself or the administrative team at Davies, we would sign up to lead or facilitate a session, and then that way, depending upon the teachers that might still be available that day, or if the topic is of interest to them, they get to control their own learning. So if we're doing something on, let's just say Google Hangouts, and talking about how Google Hangouts can be used in the classroom, that may interest some people, but maybe not others. I've led sessions even just called Twitter 101, kind of talk about how to use Twitter as a professional development tool, what hashtags are, the very basics. And it kind of breaks the ice for staff in that regard. I mean, that's just one of many things that I can think of.
So Nicholas Diaz here. So I wanted my former staff members to do some flipped learning in their schools, some blended learning in our schools. So what I did, popcorning back off what you guys were saying about modeling, I decided to model some flipped staff with my staff, you can see myself, and presented that to them, and then also with back to school nights for our families, to do some flipped nights with them. Just again modeling that educational practice that I wanted my staff to do. Again, taking a risk. I did some of them at 2 in the morning, and I had like bags under my eyes, and I looked silly. My wife came downstairs and asked me what the heck I was doing at 2 in the morning, making flip videos. But again, I was taking a risk, and my staff laughed at me at first, but then they got into it. I had a couple of them start doing it, and next thing you know, it took off. And we even had second-grade students at one point in one of my former districts flipping their own classroom lessons. So it evolved from the building leader doing it to the teachers doing it to the students doing it. So again, it's modeling.
We got one comment from Boston coming up. Hold on.
One of the things we did, this is Ann Jones from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. One of the things we did is we asked teachers if they were okay with us filming some of the work they were doing in their classroom. We were looking to move teachers from the substitution level of the SCIMR model to the modification and redefinition level. So we went to take teachers doing lessons on the modification and definition level and shared it with them. And it was actually way more powerful out of it. It opened up a lot of communication among teachers to how they did things.
I have another topic maybe we can discuss too. Just for a show of hands in the North Jersey side, do we have any teachers in the room? Okay, we got one. That's great. How about Boston and South Jersey? Do we have any teachers that are here with us today? Did I see a couple hands?
One South Jersey.
I guess my question is us the leaders in the room, how do we get more teacher leaders in our buildings and break away from being out there on their own and going against maybe what the union is saying is not right and getting everybody to buy in? Getting teachers to role model for others really will make all of our jobs as administrators easier, but how do we do that? How do we embrace them and show them it's okay? Got a couple people here in North Jersey.
Good morning. I think one of the easiest ways we can do that is by creating an environment where they can take chances. They feel comfortable and confident in their own abilities and having a chance as a leader to celebrate the good that's going on in the school. And by doing so, giving them an opportunity to play to those strengths, either at faculty meetings, changing the traditional faculty meeting into more of like a collaborative session where they bring their strengths to the table, they feel confident in what they're doing, and that breaks them out of the mold of just being a specific grade level teacher. Breaking down the compartments in the school, to me, is paramount to creating that environment where they take chances and have a sense of pride for themselves and for the rest of the staff.
Okay.
I think also you need to, sorry, this is Natalie Franzi from North New Jersey. You also need to elevate your staff. A lot of times I think teachers don't realize what they're doing is truly special and great. So talking to them about what they're doing and how other people would be interested in learning to what they're doing. I know in my school district we have like teacher learning academies where they can come and present. We've also created model classrooms for teachers to go and visit to see really great pedagogy, and also encouraging them to present at conferences. So those are some ways that we've really tried to elevate our teacher leaders. We have another one coming up from North New Jersey.
Hello, my name is Abraham, and I'm a vice principal in an elementary school. And one of the things that I do is basically just get to know my teachers and get to know any new staff, and I walk around. And once I see some great stuff happening in the classroom, I go ahead and just encourage them. I praise them and encourage them, and I say, "Can you do this?" I share this at our faculty meeting or our team meeting, and perhaps, like Natalie said, there's a conference or there's a district meeting, I'd like you to get up and kind of share that. What do you need? So basically inviting, taking a look for good examples of effective learning or things that they can not just uplift the students but also the staff.
We have one
South Jersey or Boston, we want to jump in on that?
Oh, South Jersey. Hi, it's Robin from South Jersey. One of three ways we encourage leadership with our teachers. One, as an administrator, I create a school leadership team with our lead teachers who come and meet with the administration on almost a monthly to weekly basis. Then through PLCs. You know, within every PLC team, you have facilitators, and they rotate the facilitators within the team, you know, sharing the leadership. And then we train our teachers how to be leaders within their own domain, within their classrooms. So there's one of three ways we create teacher leadership, and we encourage them and we model it.
We have two comments from Boston. One's from, this is Henry Turner, principal in Massachusetts. I think the encouragement and the PLC, the sharing is great, are great examples. I also wonder though if we need to put our money where our mouth is as principals and district leaders. So I wonder if stipends or there's financial incentives as well to help people, to support people and make it official in terms of some teacher leadership. And I'm thinking about instructional coaches or mentors, role models, stuff like that that can help provide some leadership for veteran teachers and working with our new staff. We also have one more comment in Boston.
Hi, Mike from Boston. Just going back on the modeling thing, I think it's also very important to identify that we struggle with modeling too, and know that we're not always successful, but we're going to learn from what we do. And modeling practices, trying to integrate and identifying some struggles that we went through to learn this new technology will help a lot of veterans also to that. And our sound system is going back and forth with me, so I'll just bear through it. But modeling is important, both the successes and learning from the failures. For one classroom teachers, and having the open relationship with your staff is the most important thing. Developing those communications is really important. But modeling successes and failures so we can learn and grow.
Hi, this is Kathy. What I do, not only I model within my actions, but also in reflection. So what I mean by that is during a meeting, if we're together and we're planning, I may talk about back to school night, and I may reflect, you know, verbally to the teachers and say, well, for next year I want to improve upon something that happened during back to school night. So what I try to do is I try to include myself as a part of a team, and that we're all learning together, and that we're all dedicated and improving, you know, for continuous growth. So that's something that I do out loud. So I'm not only showing them modeling with my actions, but also verbal reflection.
Hi, this is Anastasia from North Jersey. One thing, I'm a principal of an elementary school, and And 2 years ago, we turned our tech teacher into a tech coach. And there was some reluctancy on the staff. And I said, look, let's give it a year, and then we could, reflect and do a needs assessment. But it has really transformed our tech instruction. She is a teacher who's well respected and trusted by colleagues, and she's been able to take a static lab setting and really infuse that into the classroom setting. And so she's co-teaching, she's got co-planning time with teachers, and it's really, from the ground up, transformed our technology instruction greatly. So that's really worked well for us.
I noticed a question on Twitter that came in. What decisions could be turned over entirely to campus teachers, for example? Any ideas on that one? Giving teachers full control of something? I know at my high school I give complete control to the high school Twitter account to students at times. That could be something that could be given over to teachers as well to model what they're doing in their classrooms for other teachers to see. PD could be definitely mentioned from the audience. PD can definitely be modeled for other teachers. Right, access to the district website so teachers can display what they're doing directly for the whole school community to see.
There's a comment here from Boston about empowering teachers through exam schedules, creating schedules.
And Nicholas Diaz back again. I have a question. What do you do to inspire and motivate your staff? Or what have you done?
South, you want to take that one first?
We got one coming.
Hi, everybody. Glenn Robbins, lead learner down at Northfield Community Middle School. I think it's emotional intelligence. I think it's enthusiasm. I think it's passion. A lot of you have done some outstanding talks already this morning about what you do to your school. But like I said, like you have all mentioned, it's getting the teachers involved, and it's also getting the students involved as well to see that if the students can help transform it by getting their leadership committee teams together, as well as tech squads, and working together as one. But basically supporting them, nurturing them. We talked about risk-taking and so forth, but is it really risk-taking, or is it just simply supporting your staff and letting them see that you care? And like somebody mentioned earlier, it's people before programs, and that you're there together as a team, not as an I gotcha. With all the new mandates and so forth for the state, we have to work together as one, and it's showing them day in and day out that you care about them and the job that they do, and trying to be a servant leader to help them out.
This is Natalie from North Jersey again, but just adding on to what Glenn said, I think it's so important to show your staff that you appreciate them and care about them as people. I recently did a model lesson where I pulled the teachers out for half a day, and so I got them subs, I brought them in before, during lunch, I cooked them all lunch, and then did the model lesson. So they were really appreciative of, not only was I appreciating that they were giving up their time in the classroom, but I was treating them like real people, which I feel like sometimes we forget about, that like it's good to go out to lunch and like do those different things that teachers don't get to experience because of the schedule.
I'll throw in there an example. I know Joe Sanfilippo out in Wisconsin did. He actually gave away a raffle that he came and taught, I think for a period, your class. So that way the teacher got a break, and it was the superintendent of schools came in and actually taught the class to give the teacher a break. Was another example as well.
This is Stephanie Runyuk from South Jersey, Davies School. We do a lot with our character education program, and we include the teachers in on that as well. We have tons of different incentives for our teachers, and we just do different special things throughout the year. We also solicit area businesses for gift cards and things like that. Teachers seem to enjoy that stuff. And we also have them in on celebrating one another and kind of giving each other kudos through voting for one another for like staff of the month and things like that. But that's been a couple of things that seem to have worked well with us.
I think you can also get buy-in from teachers in your community. Again, Kevin Cowell here in North Jersey. We use a hashtag that kind of goes to our school. We have Warrior Nation for sports and themes, as well as I have one called Own It, which really embraces the teachers of buying into what they're doing and promoting the things that are going on in their classroom. I know Middletown, you have Middletown Pride or MTPS Pride. I know around the nation that's something that's a movement. Those of you that are on social media, it's a way to promote what's going on and really promote your teachers.
And a great book and series for that is the Corwin Connected Educator series, specifically the book written by Tony Sianis and Joe Sanfilippo.
Called Brand in Your Schools. And then they came out with a new one, but it's not on brand. I can't remember the name. Pull it up.
Henry Turner, I just wanted to throw out the question. Let me turn this up. Just wanted to throw out this question about more diversity as a leadership block, lack of diversity as a leadership block. Do we have enough? Do we have diversity among gender, diversity among teachers of color, diversity among people who have an urban experience, suburban experience, people with just diversity of perspective? Certainly think that challenge. Just wanted to throw that question out there.
Hi, my name is April, and I actually am not a teacher, but I work for the courts. I'm in human resources, and we have similar concerns about diversity in our community and representing the community that we serve. So we've taken this stance of setting up minority concerns committees where we invite key stakeholders from the committee or from the community representing different interest groups, and then we bring them together to talk about the issues that affect our courts and then try to problem solve around that. So maybe that's an approach that schools could take as well, and integrate with the community and find interest groups that could maybe bring to light some of the concerns you have.
Coming up on the crutches.
That's why I didn't want to come up before. Hi, Lynn Jackson, newer administrator at Morris County School of Technology. And our, I don't want to call it a morale issue, but our struggle right now is having our entire team of teachers see eye to eye on things. And it's not that it's terrible, but we have a group of teachers who do a lot of things outside of contract because they're conscientious, they want to do a great job, meet the needs of kids. And then we have a small contingent of teachers that they're not bad teachers. They just, everything they want to stick to the contract. And sometimes what happens is instead of using the contract as a shield, they sometimes use it as a weapon. And how, I'm asking this question of the teachers in the group or maybe administrators who've watched this happen, how do you get them to come together when they've even identified their issues not with the administrative team, it's amongst their group? How do you get them to, I don't know, collaborate, and etc.
We got an answer for that one?
We have a comment coming up from Boston.
No, everyone has that issue.
We actually had a former superintendent present at professional development who shared with us she had a very similar situation going into a new school district. And after about a month or so, she found that she needed to take the entire staff together. And she told them there are two ways we can do this. We can go about and we can do everything by contract, and that means, you know, if you need to leave early for a doctor's appointment or you have kids get sick, then we're going to need to go by the contract, or we can handle this as a family. And, you know, families take care of each other, and, you know, if you need to leave early for something like that, then we just make it work. And she said almost immediately they all decided that they wanted to function as a family, and she said it was just unbelievably better going forward.
Got another question or comment?
So Lou Manitelli from North Jersey, Milford, high school principal. I just took over for a principal that was in the district for a number of years, and to go on what you were talking about as far as getting staff to buy in, it just takes time. You got to put your time in and build those relationships. I think one of the things I mentioned was like, you know, cooking for your staff, getting involved, doing activities. You'll see a change start to happen with the staff once they know you're there for them. And then those little issues where contract stuff happens, you'll see the people step up and respond. If you're genuine, you actually care, and you put the time in, you'll see the connection for them, and they'll help you out. The other thing too, though, one of the people mentioned in one of the other groups, is really saying you can do it one of two ways. You know, you have to lay it out and say, you know, the contract doesn't just go for what I can't do, you know, as far as a teacher, or what I can't do. You know, you have to really set the limits for them and say, this is what your contract says. Now, I can hold you to that time. I could be at the front door. I don't want to do that. I want to trust you, and I want to show you that I trust you because we are in this together. So that one speaker that mentioned it before, you're right on target with that. But just take the time and put those little events in together, and over the years you'll start to see the difference. Because when I went to North Arlington, it was a different school. It took about 2 years, 2.5 years to get everyone to buy in. And then by year 4, it was running like a top. So just be patient with that, okay?
I just want to chime in on that real fast. Yes, it does take time, obviously, because people, when you come into a new position, they don't know who you are. You have to win over that trust and so forth. You know, Eric Changer put it best. You have to go out and try to get 5 good people from each team level and try to get them to go out and spread what your message may be to try to build it up. Another thing that really worked for myself is I meet daily with the head union president and talk about life. We talk about what's going on in the building for climate and culture, and that seemed to help break down a lot of barriers with that communication aspect.
Hi, this is Kathy again. I agree with all the comments. It does take time. I'm in my building, I guess, now for 8 years. I'm an elementary school principal. And what was helpful to me at the very beginning of my time in my current position was to create a vision. So the entire staff, we all got together and you know, created a common vision that we live by. And we also discussed you know, pulling, if someone strays from that vision, that how we would pull one another back to stay true to what we all believe in. So when we had a set list of belief values, that was our vision, we discussed, you know, what would happen if we stray, what happens if we disrespect one another for our differences, such as you know, maybe disagreeing on things, how we should be treated. So that was really helpful as far as building a really positive climate and also creating a forum for some really great, respectful conversations where sometimes we may disagree.
Sure, we got another question coming from North.
Okay, just to the administrators in the room, how do you get that? And I'm sure everyone's experienced this. You have a teacher, and you've tried all those different techniques to kind of motivate them, kind of correct certain things that maybe need to be done, but they just look at you with this face. And they don't see anything wrong sometimes with the behavior or the decision making they come with. You know, how do you get them, you know, to either at least acknowledge the areas that they need to improve upon, or, you know, and that's a big thing, you know, acknowledge it and then also put it into practice. Because I have one teacher that, you know, does a bonehead move and doesn't even understand why, you know, and you could tell them to, and you could write it on paper, you could write the person up, and they just walk around like they're, oh, okay, everything's fine. You know, like some of your experience, some of your techniques working with a teacher like that. So that's a challenge we all face. If anybody has any ideas, please share.
This is Natalie from North New Jersey again. For me, as a new and younger administrator, I get that look all the time. It amazes me sometimes what people will say to me. But for those people, I think, one, it's about being in their classrooms and being there. I know one of the teachers who was a more traditional teacher I had a lot of success with, going into her room, modeling a writer's workshop lesson, and then sending her to one of our master labs that we have in the school. So her seeing that I was there to support her and make the process easier really went a long way. I mean, it went so far that I sent her home with the Daily 5 book this summer to read, and she was so excited. So it's about really being visual and being present for those people. But I think also as leaders, we have to realize where is our time best spent. Like, you can't save everyone. And some people don't want to be saved.
Comment from Boston.
Hi, it's Robin from South Jersey again. I would have to say modeling. I had a couple of teachers, and they would give me that look. Sometimes it seems as though we're speaking different languages. So I asked them if I could model for them. One was a health class, and I actually went in with a group of 6th graders, and they were a difficult bunch, and I just took the lesson differently. You know, after I created a plan with the teacher, we had this plan. I went in, I was observing, and then I just stepped up and I modeled how it should go, what it should look like, and getting the kids more interactive. Another one was in the music class. The teacher invited me in. We were having problems. We had years of plans, trying to work things out, and she gave me the opportunity to model. So she saw things differently. So sometimes people are different learners. You know, you can write a plan, they may not see it. You can tell them, they may not hear you. But sometimes you have to demonstrate it for them. And that's what leadership is all about, just demonstrating and leading the teachers.
Hi, Melanie from South Jersey. Just to build upon what's already been said, I think a lot of times it also comes down to trust. I don't think anybody is standing in a classroom and wants to be ineffective. But I also think it's very difficult to admit that you may not be ineffective. And so I think it's building trust with your staff in that we're in it together, and that it's not a gotcha. It's a let's build on sound professional practice. And I think without that relationship, it is very hard to affect change for those teachers that may be ineffective. And For the teachers who have children, I know one of the things I always say to teachers who may need to grow a little bit more is, would you want your child sitting in your classroom? Your own child. And I think that's a point for people who have children to start reflecting upon. And so, again, I think it just comes down to building trust, honesty, and coming from a point of improving instructional practice, not an I gotcha. And I found that to work so far. Thank you.
I agree that trust is, Ann Jones in Massachusetts, trust is a big issue, but one of the things I think it goes further than just the relationship between the administrator and the teacher. I think that your district needs to have a set of core values that is being implemented in the schools in the district, in that the administrator in that school is carrying those core values and implementing those core values in the classroom. And in our district, one of ours is collaboration. And so really focusing on, this is who we are, this is what we believe in, we will work together, I will help you, here are the resources, just like many of the others said. But I think it goes back to that whole idea of what are your district's core values, and is the belief system of the teacher such that they agree and buy into that also.
This is Stephanie from South Jersey. I just wanted to add in that we probably have to look at why they're reluctant and kind of get to that root cause, because that'll help us be able to, help them a little bit more. And at the end of the day, we do really have to think about, what's best for our kids, and go from that point. But I think, looking at it from the perspective that they're learners too, and finding out why they're reluctant would definitely serve as beneficial.
I think going off at 2, and something that we're all struggling with is because of all the changes, I think a lot of teachers have become disenfranchised with the teaching profession. So how are we engaging those teachers?
Hi, I'm Scott from North Jersey, in Milford School District. If I can go back to working within the confines of a contract, I remember as a new teacher over 20 years ago coming into a district where my first meeting was with the association, and thou shalt not do anything that's not in the contract. And then going to a faculty meeting with a new superintendent to the district who knew this coming in. And he spoke very genuinely, and again, through the course of time, proved himself to be genuine, speaking that the contract does provide both sides with a set of rules and guidelines that must be respected, but that also there's nothing wrong with going above and beyond and outside of that contract on both sides. And again, I think as the building leader at that time, and again, my first superintendent/principal, he came across as genuine, did those things that some of us spoke about, cooking lunch and doing things in a genuine way, taking interest in teachers both as professionals and as people. And I think there was a change in the way teachers function in the building, where that contract was, again, it was respected, but people did go above and beyond and outside for their own benefit and, of course, for the benefit of the kids, too. So just to reiterate, as a leader showing himself to be genuinely interested in people as professionals and as people, it can help foster that relationship so that teachers are not necessarily afraid to go outside of, the limitations of the contract.
Hi, it's Kathy. And I think also as a reminder why we all got into education in the first place. Just recently, I have a colleague who's an administrator in another district, and he had a very, very difficult issue going on and was really struggling with, is it all worth it? And this is a very young colleague, so it's not someone who's been in the business for many years. And you know, we were communicating back and forth via email, and I just basically reminded him, you know, why he's doing what he's doing, and that's for the kids. He adores the middle school level, which is he's a school principal in a large middle school, and you know, once I just kept on reminding him that he does all this for the students, that it's not all about the stress that comes with the parents or the Board of Education or the other administrators, but it's for the students. So that's what I do. Not only for myself, I do that sometimes, but also for the teachers. We talk about, you know, why they started in education in the first place, whether that was 2 years ago or whether that was 20 years ago. And sometimes that kind of brings us back to a really good place.
We have about 7 minutes left, at least for North New Jersey. So does anyone have any final points they kind of want to wrap up the discussion with, or anything during the discussion that really was an aha moment for you?
Hi, it's Steve Santilli from South Jersey. I wanted to actually throw one more question out there. During this these days, we obviously are struggling quite often with financial aspects of trying to lead with this. So does, you know, I really wanted to see if anybody has anything to share in regards to how they're getting out there in the communities and making those connections to be able to do the things you need to do in your schools. Probably if you're really trying to take advantage of the grant money that might be out there. Wanted to see what other communities were doing to really get resources like that.
This is Natalie again. One of the things that we did as we launched our district hashtag, MTPS Pride, we presented at our parent council, we presented at the board meeting to kind of engage them and let them know what we were doing. But then we were also holding 2 different conferences. In Middletown, one we held at NATO, and then we're hosting Ed Camp Jersey Shore, and we've invited parents to come to those conferences, and we actually had parent involvement at our Ed NATO conference. So it's been helpful to kind of get the parents out there, get them more involved. With Common Corner Park, they have so many questions, so they're a really great audience for Ed camps and things like that.
Steve, we're talking about getting Kevin Cow from from North Jersey here. Financial tie-ins. Maybe we have our educational foundations. Maybe local districts have that too, where they can tap into those to help provide with technology needs or PD for staff. Sometimes them changing the way they're thinking of spending their money is something we have to expose them to for the times that we're in now.
I had one question, Patrick Larkin from Boston Group. Just wanted to say one of the stumbling blocks too can be ourselves as leaders, and especially with all these tools to connect with one another. And we have to be careful to be sure that we're still meeting parents and teachers where they are, and not just saying, well, we're here and they're not. So I like the idea that was just mentioned 2 people ago about bringing people in the community together. We need to keep reaching out and writing in newspapers. I know it's newspapers are dying, but wherever we can get our message out, our job is to get our message out. The nice thing is it's great we can piggyback these messages all over the place by using some of these connected tools. But just be careful not to keep inhabiting the spaces you've come from, and we can draw more people with us.
To talk about engaging parents too, Joe Mazza talks about how he used the book not another bake sale or something. What is Beyond the Bake Sale, and created a Voxer group, which he invited parents and educators to do a book talk during the summer, a book chat. So that's another thing.
I just want to, Brian, at Boston, I just want to follow up on some points that Patrick. One of the things as administrator, you can lead professional development for your parents as well in the evenings. So they might not speak the same language as social media. You can give them the basic tenets of them. So you're doing that face-to-face, and you're establishing or honing those relationships, yet giving them the tools to be able to communicate then through social media. I've done it a few times with parents at night, and immediately I get emails from other groups saying, are you going to do it again? And maybe it's 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon, 30 minutes in the evening, so you can meet different stakeholders. Want to follow this up with building relationships, no matter if it's parents or teachers here. Power of the handwritten note hasn't gone out of style yet.
This is Melissa Butler from North Jersey. Another thing that works really well is leading parent academies, but not having their parent academies run by the teachers and administrators, but being led by the students. This allows us to meet our parents where they are because it's being led by the students, and the parents really want to get involved. But it's worked really well in our district. We actually did speed geeking. So any platform that we were using in the district, because many times our parents weren't knowledgeable with the technology platforms, we set it up like speed dating, but we called it speed geeking. So the students set themselves up around the library, and the parents could go from station to station and learn about the different platforms. And we had the students teaching them how to use PowerSchool, everything. So that worked well in our district, having the students lead the PD.
Hey, it's Steve Santilli in South Jersey again. One of the things that, as we wrap up, what I wanted to just touch on was that I think what we're doing right now, taking risks, it's not just about modeling, but we're taking risks. And kudos to everybody on the planning team in North Jersey and also Boston. You know, today was a huge day, one hashtag, one day, multi-locations. But ultimately, you know, we've never done this before. At least at any ed camps I've been at, we've never connected virtually. So this is just, again, us modeling the ability to take risks and the willingness to take risks. So, you know, congratulations to everybody in the other locations, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much. Steve, are we just staying online for this next session?
Since we are live and it's going to be recorded, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the broadcast. I'm going to quickly set up another link, and I'll put it into the next session docs for the North and South Jersey connection.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thank you, everyone.
I just wanted to say thank you for connecting, and have a great rest of your day.